gonna love this. It's gonna bring back a lot of memories. Check this out.
I always saw myself as a DJ turning people on to music, even from the time I was like 5. Taping a tape recorder on my bicycle, listening to Creedence, riding around the neighborhood. I was in Rich Phoenix on WCTC. He used to let me sit in there at night as a little kid. I was fascinated.
Were you?
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to do radio. So I'd watch him spin records. That's how I learned how to cue up a record.
Right.
Like my friends in high school hated or loved the Ramones and the Sex Pistols and the Dead Boys and all the punk rock. I remember bringing those records into music appreciation class and playing punk rock. They were bringing in like the Grease soundtrack to Saturday Night Fever. I'm bringing in these punk rock records. People were running out of my music appreciation class with their fingers in their ears.
What'd your teacher
Oh, turn it off! Turn it off! I was spinning at Charlie's Uncle. We'd have 200 people, cars in the parking lot on a Tuesday night.
In a strip mall.
In a strip mall. It was unbelievable. And then I went to Melody one night when they were playing cassettes of Motown, and I went up to the owners of Melody and said, man, there's so much great new music out. You guys need to get with it. And I started spinning records, drawing a crowd there in the kitchen, but our dance floors were killing it. You know, there were like 500 people in there on some nights.
The music was just everywhere. It was spilling out to the street. It was pulling us in. It was reverberating through the walls and through me.
He knew he knew how to keep the floor moving, dancing.
You know, when people tell you it was a big part of their lives, I mean, that's what really does it. HCG was a lovely experience. There were only a handful of people that were like playing The Cure and R.E.M. and the Smiths. Obviously, we're making less money than a fast food joint, but it was the greatest job ever. I had Black Flag up there, guys from APB. And that was always my philosophy down the Jersey Shore, too. Play local music, unsigned bands, with bands, so and because perception's a reality.
Yeah.
Then people think they're a big band, they'll go see them. Like Damon Albarn. I remember we come to the house in the woods and I go, what the fuck are we doing out here? He goes, and I left it like the best time in the world. Just how much energy I
There you go.
Hey, is that what he said?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
What's up, man? How are you? There's always going to be that cooler than now indie person who's like, calls you a sellout or whatever because you're on MTV, and I'm like, whatever, dude.
Right. You had to have interviewed people you didn't respect as artists.
Yes.
Was that hard?
No.
No, why?
Never. It's never hard to interview people, even if I don't necessarily respect them as artists or if I'm not really into their music, because to me that was what I was there to do. You can be there for the fan and the Uber fan, but you've also got to be there for the people who've never heard them and may not even like their music, but you have to make it entertaining.
Yeah.
Matt Pinfield here, backstage at the Video Music Awards. If you trace the entire history of rock music from the Weavers up through the 13th floor elevators, taking a pit stop at Kansas, you'd eventually end up at Beck.
People thought, oh my God, you know, like, is he going to be insulted to Ben Stiller's? I go, come on. When somebody, imitates you, it means you've arrived to some extent. I'm very fortunate and grateful that artists respond, and but they can see through bullshit.
I'm Matt Pinfield.
I had a handful of gold and platinum records at Columbia, and I love that. Josh, the drummer, goes, see, Matt, he goes, the thing about you is you have real ideas. You're not just some guy at a record company with a credit card taking people out to dinners.
Welcome to FarmClub.com. I'm Allie Landry.
And I'm Matt Pinfield. It was like the precursor to all these shows, like The Voice at Beyonce with Destiny's Child. Every Green Day, everybody played that show. It was one of the coolest experiences for me. When we were young, the only real contact we had with the artist, besides the music itself, was what we read in magazines like Rolling Stone, Circus, Cream, and there was a romantic notion that being out of control was, a cool or good way to go out. I pissed out the hotel window here in San Francisco, the first radio convention. I was so drunk. When you're in the grips of alcoholism and stuff, you don't see things clearly. So you don't always show up, and you don't always show up in good shape. And I think the thing with alcoholism and addiction is you can lose sight of what's really important. Here's my daughters when they were really little. But I come here all the time to buy stuff because it's such a cool store.
Do you still get excited?
Every day. I had this as a kid at the age of 5. Sunny Afternoon by the Kinks. Patsy Cline, Chuck Berry, Great Balls of Fire, Rock Around the Clock, Heartbreak Hotel. because it's an RCA record player. I get up and I'm smiling, you know? K-Fog's a legendary station.
Right.
To be on here 9 hours every weekday.
Is this where you sit?
6 to 10. No, I let them engineer. I sit
you're over there?
over there. I'm the shortest guy in the room. And I do 2 hours with Matt Pinfield. Then I record my new music hour. And then there's a thing called Pinfield's Playlist. And then we do new music every night. And then I do whatever, guests or podcasts, whoever's coming here. When the century ended in 2000,
Right.
Star Ledger put out a top 500 most influential people of New Jersey of the century. And I was in there in like the 300s or something. I'm in there with Bruce, and I'm in there with Jack Nicholson and Einstein and Edison. And it's been a beautiful life, but it's been a fucked up one too.